Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the C.R. Lawrence number AMR207PS. This is a floor-mounted dust-proof keeper, they call it. It's a dust-proof strike is what these items are called. And they have a very important role to play in door hardware, safe operation of door hardware as well. Let's remove one from the package and take a closer look at it. Coming out of the package, and by the way, the PS is polished stainless, and that's obviously a reference to the color that's here. Polished stainless. Available in 3 finishes: brushed nickel, polished brass, and polished stainless. This is your polished stainless. This is a nut. Is intended to be installed like this. This is a spanner wrench. You'll just simply use that wrench into these 2 holes once you get it installed to tighten it down. I won't demonstrate that. That's obviously not necessary. So this is one of 2 different types of dustproof strikes that exist. There's one without the faceplate. That's this one. Then there's one with a rectangular faceplate that this usually threads down into. The one with the faceplate you would install down into a wood door type installation. A wood frame. And you'll of course very often see a wood floor in lots of different applications, certainly. Probably interior application, right, if it's a wood floor. But if you have an application where you have a threshold exterior door, you really can't route or mortise that threshold to fit that rectangular plate into. Therefore, you use the AMR207. You drill a hole in the threshold, you drill a hole in the floor, and then you physically attach this to the threshold via the nut. You tighten this down. You get the concept of how that works, right? Threshold's going to come in there. Then you'll use your spanner wrench and tighten it down. And the fact that this is square, probably not going to move very much. But that's how this works, and that's what this is intended for. So you're going to obviously need to mark the location of the hole in the threshold and then the hole for the body down below. Okay. There is a link below this video to a document called Cut Sheet that will allow you to review the dimensional properties of this item. And let's take a look at it now since we've got it here. They have an 1.25 inch outside diameter of the face. I'd say that's correct. A question that we get all the time is, what's the ID? How much can I fit into it? A lot of people are looking for a dustproof strike that will give them the ability to use a deadbolt, and really there isn't one that's going to be that large. But the ID, and I'm going to measure the ID of the hole with my caliper. They say it's 11/16, and my caliper is telling me 0.747, so almost 3/4 inch. So 11/16 would be the more stringent of the 2, so that's what we'll work with. Overall height, 2 5/16. It'd probably be your preparation depth, because we're looking at closer to 2 3/16 or so. Okay. Now reviewing the balance of that drawing, it does say accepts up to 15/32 of an inch plunger. That means the flush bolt you're going to stick in needs to be 1/2 inch, a little bit less. 1 inch diameter hole is what they're saying you should put into the floor. Let's see what the Keeper of Truth says. Our caliper says 0.985. So if you're drilling a 1 inch hole, and you really can't go any bigger than that because you've got this, you've only got 1.25 inches. I probably, look to see what drill bit I already had. I probably wouldn't buy 1 1/16 drill bit to drill that hole, but you're going to need to be fairly accurate because you don't have a lot of room. Plus, you don't want the door to move much on you when you get it installed. So obviously a Plumb Bob would be nice if you could, arrange where in the header you're starting with the top flush bolt down to where the bottom needs to be, assuming the door is not warped, askew, hung in a jam, where the legs are kicked in or out, throwing that point off. Old trick that old timers told me about many years ago was, he's like, yeah, I carry lipstick with me, he says. And I says, why do you do that? He says, it's great for marking locations on jams when you're going to put the deadbolt strike. So a little bit of something on the bottom of the bolt, mark the hole. There you go. The balance of the installation instructions, or I should say the technical drawing, or cut sheet they call it, we've covered in full. Now, why is it a dustproof strike? Because it's spring-loaded, the bottom line is. Hardware, whether it be flush bolts or like exit devices, they will discontinue to work if the hole that they have to latch into becomes filled with debris. And sooner, rather than later, a hole will become filled with debris. That's where a dustproof strike comes in. There are even models on the marketplace that will allow you to lock that in position as well. Let's say when you start business, it's a shopping mall. You might open the doors, hold them open, and then take that bottom dustproof strike and lock it so that if a type of shoe were to catch that right at the wrong point and go in, that could be an issue. So there are models on the market that lock, for your information. These are intended for use with the AMR205 patch locks and the 777S, 777SL door rail locks, and are indeed easy to install, relatively speaking. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the C.R. Lawrence products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to links to all of their product catalogs, of which there are several and many. If that was a single catalog, it would be, probably 18 inches thick. So they're broken up into categories. These dustproof strikes would probably fall into several different books, but architectural door hardware is the one that you're really looking for. If you have any questions on the the C.R. Lawrence AMR207PS polished stainless dustproof strike, or any other C.R. Lawrence product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.